Homestead exemption is a privilege offered to eligible taxpayers by the state of Mississippi. The exemption is not granted automatically, and an application must be filed and each taxpayer must qualify for the exemption. There are two types of exemptions, regular and additional. The regular homestead exemption is given to all eligible taxpayers. The exemption is from all ad valorem taxes assessed to property, limited to the first $7,500 of assessed value, and limited to $300 of actual exempt tax dollars. Any ad valorem taxes imposed on the assessed value of property over the first $7,500 must be paid. Assessed value is determined by the tax assessor of the county in which the property is located. Homestead property is usually classified as a Class 1 property with a 10% assessment rate. However, if any income-producing activity is located on the property, it may be classified as Class 2 with a 15% assessment rate. Class 1 property is not necessarily homestead property. Additional tax exemption options. Any taxpayer that qualifies for the additional exemption has an even greater exemption offered to them. The requirements for the additional exemption are detailed in Rule 3, Applicant. The exemption is from all ad valorem taxes assessed to property limited to the first $7,500 of assessed value. No dollar limit is placed on the actual exempt tax dollars. Any ad valorem taxes imposed on the assessed value of property over the first $7,500 must be paid. The Tax Commission reimburses the taxing unit for each eligible and allowed taxpayer. The counties and the separate school districts are reimbursed for the regular exemptions. The municipalities are reimbursed for the additional exemptions. In order for a taxing unit to receive reimbursement for any tax loss suffered due to an allowed homestead exemption, a request must be made to the Homestead Exemption Office. For a county, the request consists of the original copies of the Certificate of Tax Loss, the recalculation of the homestead exemption supplemental roll, affidavit of rolls, and the homestead exemption applications. For a municipality, this request consists of the original copies of the Certificate of Tax Loss, a municipal recalculation of homestead exemptions, municipal supplemental roll, affidavit of municipal rolls, and the certified tax levy. The reimbursement is made in two payments during the year. The first payment is made March 1 and is approximately 1/2 of the total amount to be reimbursed. The second payment is made September 1 and is the remainder of the total amount due. If a school taxing unit is in need of the second payment before the school year begins, a Certificate of Necessity, Form 72-035, is submitted to the Tax Commission, and the second payment will be made June 1. Reimbursement may be withheld until a taxing unit submits a proper request. For regular exemption, a total of $100 per applicant is reimbursed to the taxing unit. 1/2 of $50 is reimbursed for county taxes exempted. 1/2 of $50 is reimbursed for school taxes exempted. The taxpayer is entitled to a maximum of $300 of exemption and a minimum of $6 of exemption. However, the reimbursement made to the county will always be $100 per applicant. Each reimbursement check is accompanied by a notice of distribution, Form 72-036. This form indicates the amount of reimbursement to the county general fund and the school district general fund. For additional exemptions, the municipality in whose taxing district the applicant has claimed homestead property is reimbursed for the tax losses suffered. The actual tax loss suffered by the municipality is reimbursed with a limit of $200 per applicant. An eligible applicant is given his full exemption from the municipality. However, the reimbursement is limited to $200 per applicant. Each reimbursement check is accompanied by a notice of distribution, Form 72-037, which indicates the amount of the reimbursement. To determine the amount of reimbursement due a taxing unit, begin with the figure shown on the Certificate of Tax Loss, subtract all charges, and add all credits. The result will be the total amount of reimbursement for the year. A taxing unit is limited in the amount of reimbursement it can receive. The amount of reimbursement cannot be more than 106% of the previous year's reimbursement. The reimbursement cannot be less than the amount reimbursed the previous year unless the number of applicants has been reduced. All documents needed to determine the actual amount of reimbursement due are sent to the various taxing units. My name is Kayla Camp Burns, and I'm running for Forrest County Tax Assessor, and I would appreciate your vote.